They told you this week would belong to Cardi's rollout. They told you the talk would be about streams, chart predictions, and glossy promo. But here's the snapback. A fresh court complaint dated August 25th just hit, claiming stolen lyrics and asking for $5 million. By the 12-second mark, you're staring at the court header and a dollar figure big enough to smack the timeline. So what actually landed on that docket? The filing says, a songwriter's words and structure show up in a Cardi record without credit or permission. It names lines, points to patterns, and claims the hook mirrors the original. It asks for damages, fees, and the kind of injunction that can make a label sweat during launch week. It's loud, and it's landed at the worst possible time for a clean rollout. Let's strip the drama to the bones. These cases turn on three levers: access, substantial similarity, and harm. Access asks, could Cardi's team have heard the original? Similarity asks, are the protected parts close enough to count? Harm asks, did this cause real loss or unjust gain? If the plaintiff can light all three up, the court listens. If one bulb stays dark, the case dims fast. Timing is the gasoline. Drop a claim on the eve of a new album. And you don't just file paperwork. You hit marketing plans, radio windows, and sponsor activations. Publicists know the cost of questions. Both hate surprises. Here's the twist most fans miss. We're talking DAW sessions with timestamps, stems with version names, voice notes with date stamps, and email chains that show who said what, when. Cardi's camp won't sit quiet. Expect a tight denial and a clean phrase. Independent creation. They'll point to early drafts and demo dates to build a wall of proof. If their files tell a consistent story, that wall gets tall. Let's talk access, because that's where many claims die. How could the song have reached her orbit? Did the plaintiff pitch it to a producer in Cardi's circle? Did a co-writer follow each other on socials? Did the track float on TikTok where anyone could hear it? Access doesn't have to be a handshake. It can be a hallway, but it must be a real hallway, not a fantasy tunnel. Now the heart of it, substantial similarity. Courts don't protect ideas like love, money, or flex. They protect specific expression, the order of unique words, the rhyme scheme that bends a phrase in a certain way, the cadence that lands a punch in a precise place. When a plaintiff charts that across bars, it can look like a barcode match. Jurors understand pictures even when music feels abstract. Harm is the payday gate. If a contested line drives a hook, the value climbs. If a line hides in verse 2 and never touches the chorus, the value shrinks. The plaintiff will say the copied part is the hook's spine, the defense will say it's a pinky toe. The court will decide if it's the heart or just a fingernail. Zoom out to precedent without name dropping. Big stars win some, big stars lose some. Most settle. Why? Because trials are microscopes. Trials turn art into exhibits, and inspiration into a timeline. Trials take a vibe and solder it to a date. Nobody with a live release window likes that microscope. Settlements turn the microscope off. Meanwhile, the timeline's boiling. X is firing off hot takes like popcorn. One camp yells thief, the other yells clout chase. Maybe a small writing camp swapped references in a group chat that later touched the artist's team. Then they lay down the map. Phrase A in bar 1, phrase B in bar 3, internal rhyme in the same slot, and a cadence that lands on the same beat. Now imagine Cardi's best defense. Early demos exist with the key lines before any possible access. Their DAW files read like a diary. That is how you beat similarity with time. Let's not forget registration. Did the plaintiff register the song early, with clean metadata and a timestamp older than the accused record? If yes, their position gets stronger. If no, damages get messy and leverage shrinks. Paperwork is boring, but in court it's a superpower. The first person to document often wins the most. So why 5 million? It's a headline number and a negotiation anchor. It signals pain, not certainty. Lawyers start at mountains, then talk down to hills. Don't obsess over the number yet. Obsess over the proof. If proof is thin, even a big ask shrivels. If proof is thick, a smaller ask still bites. Here's a quiet piece nobody sees on the surface: injunctive relief. If the plaintiff can show a strong case and the music is still moving, they can ask to pause use or force a change. Imagine having to tweak a line post-release. Imagine pulling a lyric video and re-uploading with new words. It's annoying. It's also not unheard of. Labels keep contingency plans for exactly this. Let's talk PR playbooks. Card 1, respect the process, deny wrongdoing, keep rolling. Card 2, ignore the noise. Let lawyers speak, star stays above the fray. Card 3, preempt with a behind-the-scenes content drop to flood the zone. The goal is to outpace the story without feeding it. It's delicate. Yes, exclusions exist that nobody wants to test. The grown-up table doesn't sleep when the docket pings at the exact wrong hour. The group chat goes from memes to memos. Now, a word about creative reality. That's why independent creation is a real defense. But real doesn't mean automatic. It has to be proven, and proving it means opening the process. The process holds fingerprints. Let's paint 2 timelines to make this concrete. Timeline 1, the plaintiff posts a song in spring. A mutual friend shares it in a small chat. A producer from the artist's camp hangs in that chat. Bad news for the defense. Timeline 2, the artist's team started the track last winter. In June, the plaintiff releases a different song with a similar line. In August, the plaintiff sues. If those files are real, the dates are shields. Good news for the defense. How do you, as a viewer, not get played? Ask 4 boring questions. Who wrote it first? Who can prove it? Who had access? Who made money? If answers are vague, hold your verdict. If answers are crisp, the picture forms. You don't need a law degree for that. You need patience and receipts. Now let's clock the stakes for the rollout. Interviewers won't stick to the track list. They'll ask about the case. Brand partners tighten replies. Radio bookers stay friendly but cautious. The artist has to dance between hype and heat. The team will try to redirect to the music. The question keeps boomeranging back. If you're the plaintiff, the risk is different. You can get hated by a powerful fan base overnight. Your DMS get ugly. Your streams rise, but your mentions burn. You become a character in a story you don't control. That's the ugly cost of pressing a claim against a star. Some fold under that pressure, some don't. The middle of this video is where we open the door a crack. Imagine Discovery forcing both sides to share reference boards. Imagine seeing inspo playlists, writing camp schedules and notes about line edits. Imagine a text that says, keep the cadence, change the words. That one line, if it exists, can decide a lawsuit. And yes, courts can ask for that. Let's game outcomes. Early dismissal is possible if the complaint is vague. A judge can say, bring me specifics or go home. Next, settlement is possible if both sides see risk and prefer peace. That often looks like a quiet credit, a fee, and a clause that keeps mouths shut. Or the rare path? Full trial. If that happens, be ready for every stage of this record's birth to be. Pinned to corkboards and projected on screens. It's clinical, it's brutal. It's how truth is found when money and art collide. There's a cultural layer too. We love underdog writers. We love big stars. Both can be true. The fair position is not blind loyalty, it's fair play. Credit people who build the hook. Protect artists who created without theft. Punish shortcuts if they happened. Clear innocent teams if they didn't. Simple, but not easy. So where does this land today? On the eve of an album moment, a lawsuit becomes leverage. It's leverage in legal rooms and leverage in public rooms. It frames the conversation. It puts the artist on defense even if the defense is strong. It gives the plaintiff a megaphone even if the case has holes. That's why timing is a weapon. In the next 48 hours, watch for 3 tells. 1. A firm denial with no wiggle. Of the 3, silence is the loudest. It usually means the chessboard is crowded. We'll close with a reminder for creators watching this. Register your work early, save your drafts, keep your stems organized. Email yourself the final lyric sheet so there's a server date. If a defense has receipts, it will show them too. The loudest take is rarely the most correct. The right one is the one with the cleanest clock. Here's the last beat. This moment will pass. The court will decide if the fight lives or dies. The music will live either way. If the line was clean, time will clear it. If the line was stolen, time will expose it. That's not optimism. That's how receipts work when grown-ups are in the room. We built this whole channel around one idea. So yes, the timeline is messy tonight. Yes, the album focus is bent by a $5 million swing. Yes, both sides will posture. It's a ruling. It's a calendar invite labeled deposition. That is where the talk ends and the record begins. Park the outrage, save the receipts. Watch the dates. We'll be here when the next page flips with timestamps and translation. Until then, remember the rule. Energy wins the internet. Evidence wins the courtroom. And the story belongs to the side that can prove its path from blank page to final master. Villain aimed to destroy hero, but ultimately destroyed themselves.